Yeah. What? Didn't even have to shoot. Yeah. Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Kreide Duel. Today we've got NATO SadNoises playing 5th Panzer Division, going up against Shadowheart playing as the heart-shaped division, I guess, CLKA. Yeah, so we'll cover the deck reviews, then the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so this is Shadowheart's cast for the game, and they're playing CLKA or CKLA, the new Dutch division, the new Dutch Reservist division. I personally think it's a lot easier to execute than the new Belgium division. But generally, the new Belgian division is perceived as stronger just because its stuff is very cost efficient. Like the Provincio are very, very cheap. And, well, that's about it, really. The Provincio are very cheap. And the M41s and the M47, some people think are too cheap. And this is weird. Oh, yeah, I know why that's happened. And the artillery, right? The towed artillery is it's too cheap and it can come at 2 vet for free. It's generally why people think it's too strong. Anyway, CKLA, CLKA, whatever. I really need to get that right, actually. Let me just try making a deck. CLKA. Okay, CLKA. Let's have a look. So, 2 cards of supply. I think you'll struggle to keep these firing all game with 2 cards of supply. Because, you know, they're at 1 vet and you should put CV next to them so they're at 2 vet. They drain a lot of supply, actually, and particularly when it gets to the late game, you find it kind of hard to keep these firing, in my opinion. But we'll see, right? And then CVs, so 5, 6, 7 CVs. So it's quite a few CVs. It's a good number, really, 7, I think. 5 is the absolute minimum. So you could hypothetically get rid of this and then still have 5. But anyway, why this one? Why this one? Why not the cheaper one? Oh, it's only 5 points cheaper. Never mind. And the YP's got smoke. Yeah, so for 5 points more, you just get a faster one. So you might as well just do that. I mean, they've both got smoke. Faster off-road, faster on-road. Yeah, for 5 points, yeah, it's definitely worth it. So, interesting thing about the YP408, so the only wheeled vehicle in the game that has a tracked road speed. And I've been told that this is on purpose because they are old. The devs didn't tell me that. I heard that from somebody who said that the devs told them that. Do you know what I mean? So I can't confirm whether or not that's true, but I think it's on purpose that the YP408s all have a road speed of 80. So yeah, it's not actually that as fast as you might think. Like this has a road speed of 100. It's just a little car, right? In terms of your supply options, you've really only got to choose between these two. So big heavy truck carries lots of supply, but if you lose it, you're sad. And a reasonably priced truck. So bringing one of both makes a lot of sense. Then if you were to bring a third card of supply, you should probably bring a second big heavy truck. Or you can bring one of the... I mean, it's probably better to bring this one, actually. Because you tend to buy more of those. Anyway, Inf tab, so CV. So this is 4 men with a super bazooka and an Uzi and military police. The advantage is they come in a military police vehicle, I guess. Because that's the only military police he's brought. At least the only... Yeah, I mean, obviously there's this one, right? Interesting. I mean... He's not actually brought the natives, so that's interesting. These guys are really not bad, you know. As like a shock infantry squad, they're actually pretty good. They've got 11 Uzis. Now, the Uzi is one of the worst MGs. Like, it's not as good as an MP5. It's obviously a lot better than a Sterling, sadly. But, yeah, there's 11 of them, and so if you get this in the same building as an enemy, bye-bye. It's pretty funny. And especially given that your satchels are like reservist and militia and no vet makes them basically useless. Apparently the military police trait can't actually remove militia. So Yeah, so you don't want those. So what do you do when you have to fight somebody in a house? Well, you could just use commandos, but the FAL obviously won't shoot if they're in the same house. This is a really powerful squad because it's special forces and shock and whatnot. So this is like 4 rifles. This is like 4 rifles. So 8 + 8 is 16 shooty power. So, very, very powerful. Very powerful. 11 men as well, so kind of hard to get rid of. And only 70 points for all that. So it's interesting. But they are, 4 availability and then 2, which if there were 3 up there, and it would be no problem. But yeah, you always want to bring both cards to Commander. It's a nice squad. Then between your Panzer whatevers, so I've seen people bring the Dragon one. So if you just think about it, right? So just see this as an RPG, because it can fire in forests. It's actually got less pen than the Carl Gustav. And you get less availability. So I can also understand not bringing it. And he's brought him in the... Yeah, this for 25 points. I mean, obviously, like, the Pact gets a BWP or BMP-1 variant with Malyutka, no smoke, 3 armor, Grom for 25 points. So NATO just gets, like, a 2 armor box with smoke for 25 points. But it's still pretty decent. So I don't see any problem with that. And then, yeah, these for 25 are the... So they're not classed as wheeled. I mean, they've got good off-road speed, but their road speed is actually it's only 5 kilometers more than this. But it is cool. I mean, it's got 2 front armor and a 50 cal and smoke, so it's actually not so bad. 25 points. Just keep in mind that it's not actually a proper wheeled vehicle. Then Beweging Mobile. So these guys, it makes you think that they're a good shooty squad because they've got so 3 machine guns, there's like 6 rifles, but this is only 11 shooty power because the 2 Uzis are never going to be in range to do anything. If you're using them like a normal squad with attack move, the Uzis aren't going to shoot. So that's the thing with this one. If you want to use these, it's often you just got to pay attention basically. Yeah, I like NATOs for 35 points. I think they're really powerful, especially if you use them with a military police, like the Marechaussee or whatever. So you can build it with the Panzer Infanterie, or you can build it with like 2 sets of NATOs in this transport. And then just run the Marechaussee, so that would be like three cards, right? So like these 3 or, whatever. I mean, you can do it either way, so it's not going to say, oh, it's better this way. It's probably better the way you're doing it, actually. But yeah, the Uzis being in the squads makes them sort of less powerful. If they have a couple SMGs and the rest are all long range guns, you'll find that at long range you're just not doing as much because 2 of the guns aren't shooting, basically. Anyway, I mean, it's 5 guys, burgers and fries, as opposed to all the other 80 teams, which tend to be 4, right? I think... No, that's not right. There's like a double Apelas group anti-char or whatever. I can't remember what vet they are. Anti-char. Sorry, what number? Yeah, 7. So yeah, that wasn't quite right. But is this good? I mean, it's certainly not good as an infantry squad. I think it would be funny to just sneak around the sides and annoy people. And if you're going to do that, you want this, because it's actually faster off-road, which means it's faster through the forest as well. And if you're sending it all the way around the side, chances are you're not coming home to sell, right? So, and apparently it's got more autonomy as well, so it'll go further before it runs out of fuel. So yeah, I think it'd be better to bring it in this. I guess maybe he's using it just as a defensive team as opposed to sneak around the side and annoy people, at which point it can be worth having the truck because obviously then you're going to sell that and then you get some more income for these defensive teams. They're not costing you much. But yeah, I've not actually seen anybody bring this, so we'll see how good it is. I personally think that like these have Carl Gustav, so what's the point? Right? What's the point? Why not just get more regular guys, right? Like infantry or whatever. Even something like this is pretty funny for sneaking around the side. A one-shot 3 arm. If it hits it, problem is it misses a lot. Anyway, Itos. Yeah, okay. I mean, you don't really have another. You can bring Dragon Wands if you're a fool. Anyway, artillery. These things are great. You always want to be bringing 2 of these. In 1v1, this is just too much, really. It's too expensive. Fires, takes ages to reload, and the enemy just moves because the rounds are really big, so they can see them, and really slow, and then they just move their tanks. So you might as well use these because usually the enemy doesn't react until they get hit because you can't really see the rounds, and the rounds are quite fast. So yeah, I like 2 of these. This should be in the YPR so that you can survive counter battery. Because you can load it into this, and it's got top armor, and you can survive counter battery. Tanks. So basically, this is a military police vehicle, and so this will increase suppression resistance and increase suppression recovery. And so what I was doing was I was actually running your 1 card of Leopard 2A4s at no vet, because you only get 2, and they die in 1 hit to an AT plate, so it's kind of hard to keep them alive. I was bringing these at no vet, and then just always buying them with this, and then putting this, click it, Shift F, click the tank, and it'll just follow the tank around on a fast move order, so if you fast move this down a road, it'll still follow it and whatnot. And it will give the tank very good optics, gives it a second round of smoke, and provides like 1 veterancy's worth of suppression resistance so that you could still use them like a regular tank. So that's what I was doing. I only did it for a few games, so I'm not 100% sure if it's particularly viable. It's just if you run it like this, you just can't bring this out until you kill every single enemy bomber, otherwise you'll just lose it. And even then it gets side shot, one shot by conkers, which are absolutely everywhere these days. So Leopard 4. Leopard 1V, so this is an interesting compromise between the other Leopard ones. Basically, it's got the highest Leopard 1 pen matched with the Leopard 1A5 BE, but it's got less range. I think that's right. Yeah, because this is 17 at max range, and then this is 18 at less than 1. So it's just the same pen. It's just it's got less range, but you see that it's actually. So this is 16 at max, which would be 17 at this. And these have both got 9 armor, as this has got 8. So it isn't interesting. I mean, all you're going to notice is that it doesn't have a max range gun. So yeah, it's good, particularly near the start of the game. And then this thing can be good on the defense. It's really slow. 35 kilometers an hour makes it quite hard to use. It's really slow, so it's kind of hard to use properly. But hey, it will make you very unhappy if it hits you. Then we've got the Pratt, which it's pretty decent because it's got smoke and 2 armor and a TOW2 and a machine gun, which actually really helps, and mediocre stealth, so it's not so bad. And then you've got the Puat, which is the same but with an ITO and a 50 cal. Now, do you really need? This is only a TOW1 and it's only 7 availability, which is dumb. Should be way more if it's only a TOW1, but do you really need this? This is 3. Yeah, I don't think you need this because, like, look, you've got 4 here, you've got 6 here. Do you really need 6 more? I don't really think you need it, particularly because you tend to be the one pushing because you don't have any. If you want to defend, you can defend with these, right? Let's just get rid of it, and I'll tell you what I want to use it for. Those points. Anyway, recon. So this is 8 guys, so you want them fighting, really. Which point should be at 1 vet, in my opinion. Then you've got 4 guys, and it's being brought in a helo. Okay, I mean, it can work. Yeah, why not? You can get them to funny places. I mean, you could try a rush, but I wouldn't. Not with 4-man squads. Then what are they going to do when they get there? And this is not fast either, and it dies in 1 hit. C&Vs are really good. It's like a Super Fox, or a Super Scimitar, I suppose is probably the better comparison. They did sort of mess up all the motion accuracies on these Ehrlichens, but that's... I don't want to get into it. There's some people who are just really difficult to be around. Anyway, so... This is the military police one we spoke about, so you put this with the tank if you want the tank at no vet to do the funny thing. Just try it. If it doesn't work, you could do something else. This is a 3-point slot. No, okay. Tell you what you could do is, you know, because you've already got a 60-point wheeled CV. You've already got an 80, and this is technically not really a wheeled, whatever. You've already got like a car CV and whatnot, so you could get rid of this and get yourself a tank CV. Because if you recall, you had 1 AP spare, so you could do that anyway and get a tank CV. You don't have to, I mean, it's cool, right? Having a tank CV. Recon Helo, always useful. Paying 15 points more for extra speed and a minigun. Yeah, why not? Still for availability. AA, I don't really agree with it. Yeah, let's for starters, let's undo this for reasons I'll be getting into later. So you're saving, you know, 4 AP, whatever. This is not good against infantry. Look it up on the Warno damage calculator. In fact, I suppose I could just do it for you. That's why we're here. So we want to get to warno.com and this thing called damage calculator, right? So what is this? Bofors L set. So it's this one, and we're gonna shoot Grenadier Voltigeurs because they're 10 men, not because they're French. And it will kill them in an average of 71 seconds. Okay, so here's the Zwillinger. It's 43 seconds. So there's some AA guns are literally twice as good as other ones, and this is firmly in the not twice as good. M55 Maxson. 59 seconds. Right? M55 Maxson, 59 seconds. Bofors, wow, it's a big gun. It is this one, isn't it? Yeah. 71 seconds. This costs more, this costs less, this has less availability, this has almost twice as much availability. The choice is obvious. If you want to shoot people, use the Maxson. So you can do that if you want, right? Can be useful. This thing I just really don't think is good. You can't... So basically, because this div doesn't get airborne forward deployed, you can heli rush people, which is probably what all this is for. So that and these 3... Oh, he's not actually brought the hogs. Okay. Well, do yourself a favour and just get rid of this. If you're not going to be heli rushing people, Eyehawks obviously you got to bring. Stingers are nice. I don't... you cannot vet them if you want. You cannot vet them if you want. Hogs are really, really, really useful. What if the enemy does a breakthrough? What are you going to do? Air tab. So this is like... This fighter needs to go up in price now. Now that these Sparrows go 8,475 meters, this thing is ridiculously cost efficient. It's very, very, very good. Then this is for killing helicopters with the Ligmas. This reloads in 4 minutes. So you don't want that, you want the HE bomber, right? This reloads in 1 minute. This reloads in 4 minutes. You know, it's got 10% less ECM, but it's literally 90 points cheaper. And if you want to hurt tanks, use this, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to kill him though, that's fine. You back up in 60 seconds, and you get the Wild Weasel to make sure that your planes don't die, so you can actually just keep doing this. So you send the Weasel out first, and if it dies, whatever, who cares? Then you use these. You can do some pretty nice air spam with this. Like, you can still put this in here, you would just have to get rid of the hogs, or the Maxsons. No, not the Maxsons. But yeah, you can still do the funny thing I spoke about, where you can, you know, get rid of this and put it in here. Or you can say, I really don't want to air spam. Like, you know, this, don't get me wrong, this will definitely one past the enemy heavy tank if he's coming right for you, but, you know, 2 of these will do the same job, and you just got to be careful with them. And you've got these for the defense, right? And you've got... You know, these for the defense, this for the defense, these for the defense. I don't know. I mean, you don't have to do it, right? You can get rid of this and swap, put that one back in. I really do recommend keeping the hogs, though. And, yeah, that's how I would change it. I mean, that's just me, right? So this is my build of the deck. I was experimenting using the 105 howitzers to smoke instead of the mortar, and the problem I keep having with it is that the dispersion's too small if you have a recon there, which really messes up your pushes because you can't smoke properly. So even though you have more range and whatnot, you just can't do it properly. So I'm actually just going to swap that out right now. And yeah, I bring 3 cards of supply and only 5 CVs, so that's something else you can do. You can bring a 3rd card of supply and only 5 CVs. I just bring 8 stingers, but I guess I will try the Maxsons. Oh, okay. I'll try the Maxsons next time I play this because, yeah, after talking to people doing that calculation, I think... so I'll try keeping that up there and see where that gets me. So yeah, that I mean, the reason I say this is how I think you should do it is because that's how I do it. And you see, this is at 4, and oh no, I actually do have 7 CVs. So somehow I've got 3 cards of supply in there, and I actually also bring the cluster. I just completely fill this tab. So I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I've got less recon than you, and I do bring these at no vet because I don't have the 2nd card, and I'm missing an infantry. So bring the nators and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, it's just something to think. Like, you can just copy mine 1-to-1 if you want. Whatever. Anyway, the opponent's playing SadNoises, 5th Panzer, I mean. And this is going to be really fast because there's really nothing to talk about here. The only weird part... Oh no, he's still got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is perfect because it means that you can... if you want, swap this out for the tracked one because it's cheaper, or you can swap it out for this one for 5 points more because it has smoke, and you would still have 6 CVs, and it's only 5 points more, and it's a lot more likely to survive. 3 cards of supply is very normal. I would recommend the Unimog truck over the tracked one, simply because if this dies to artillery, you don't care because it was 25 points, so who cares? And then, yeah, the big ones, you do, I think, need 3 cards of supply. Particularly on this div with all the tanks and whatnot. Double vetted 109s, yeah, I think that makes sense. You can. This is just the M270 and the other one. It's got the same argument attached to it. There's mortars for smoke. Infantry is very straightforward. This is basically how everybody does it. 1 card of Pioneers at 1 vet in the Fox. 1 card of Pioneer Carl Gustavs in the Fox. And then just a bunch of Marder 1A2 Milan Panzer Grenadiers. And then 1 Panzer Grenadier in a truck, just in case you really need some fast infantry. And the Fox Milan, 35 points, the same bad, and Milan 2 at no vet. That's very normal. Spoke about this. And then this is all very normal. Jaguar 2 for defensive shooting, it's got 6 armor. CVs, Leopard 2A4s at 1 vet, Leopard 2s at 1 vet, Leopard 1A5s at 1 vet. It's all very normal. Recon Fernspare are your airborne forward deployment at 100 kilometers an hour with AT. These guys, I would not be bringing them in this because it's just bad. The Lux is, yeah, you use it to shoot people at the start and then you put it with your tank, Shift F, so your tanks can see. Recon Helo, very normal. AA, so some people don't bring the Roland 2. Fliegerfaust max vetted probably makes a lot of sense. Gepard at 1 vet, yeah, because you don't need that many. Zwillingers are really good against infantry, and you can like up-vet it and whatnot. The only issue is this div seriously gets air bullied. So if you don't bring the Roland 2s, so you can fit the Zwillingers in, you start having problems. So it is nice to bring the Zwillinger, it's just kind of hard to do so. You could trade it out the Gepard, but then, Gepards can be useful for AA as well. But yeah, you can trade out the Gepard for the Zwillingers. This is the Hot 2, so this is the one that's in CLKA. And this is just better, so you just bring it. It's got less availability and it costs more, but it does a lot more damage. And then 2 cards of fighters is sensible. HE1, it's not very sensible. There's 6-minute reload time. So a lot of people bring the Tornado IDS because it reloads in 90 seconds and it's more survive. Is it? It's apparently got better agility, but so that and it's cheaper. It's like, what? This is just not worth it. What a lot of people do is bring the rocket plane because you can get it out really quickly. It's only 155 points, and it reloads in 32 seconds, and it's 3 availability. So it's probably the main thing. So I hope you enjoyed that deck yappage. Now we'll talk about the map, the matchup, the deployments in the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about Kreide. I personally prefer being on the red side, but basically, if you're blue, I think the way to win is to take Bravo at the start. It's kind of hard to do. Red does have the advantage in that they have this nice hill, but at the start, they tend to deploy down this road and don't put anything up here. But if you get one tank to here, which would take a while to arrive, but you know you could just play it here and it would actually take about the same amount of time. You could just park it up here and just shoot all the reinforcements and then reverse, then come out and shoot and then reverse and whatnot. So yeah, if you're blue, I think you want to take Bravo. And then from Bravo you can push to here, and from here you can try and get up here. It's a bit of a weird one, because if the enemy's got infantry in these forests, then you have to buy some infantry, and then you have to like smoke here or something, otherwise they'll shoot you with stuff over here, and then you can run up into these forests with a bit of smoke and whatnot, and once you get into here, then it gets a lot easier, but attacking Delta's practically impossible from the blue side, which is that what he's trying to do? Yes, okay. Because it's basically red can put a guy in here and shoot everybody coming down this road, can get a guy in here and shoot everybody coming down this road. This is the middle point as well, so if red's got forward deployment, he'll actually start with this. And blue will as well, and they'll fight over this, and then blue has to try and get to here. There'll be guys here shooting him, there'll be guys here shooting him, guys here shooting him, guys here shooting him. So if you're blue, you sort of have to take all this and then push up to here, and then even then, getting from here to here is practically impossible. It's really difficult because because of this position. So if you're trying to get from here, like, so if you get to here, then yeah, you can try and sort this out while these guys are still shooting you and popping in and out. And then they've got a secondary fallback position here, which can still shoot down that road, and you can't shoot him from here because of the hill. So attacking Delta is very, very, very difficult. So in terms of which is what he's doing, in terms of the matchup, I'd say 5th Panzer is probably better than CLKA. CLKA is a bit of a weird one. It's sort of like a semi-reservist division. It reminds me a lot of Berlin Command in that it kind of does a bit of everything. The artillery is really nice. You can do some proper air spam, but as you know from the deck review, Shadowheart hasn't really built it like that. Being a Baldur's Gate 3 character and all, not familiar with Wild Weasels for Seed. And the NF5s only brought one card of NF5s instead of two, so it's going to be a tough one. And yeah, they're nice on the defense because they get a lot of ATGMs. In general, they're just kind of a bad 4th Dutch, really. 4th Dutch does basically everything CLK does. CLK, though, I mean, I suppose you could say it gets more infantry, but not really, because 4th Dutch still gets the natives, so... Anyway, yeah, I think 5th Panzer's kind of better, to tell you the truth. But neither division is really considered S tier. I'd say 5th Panzer's kind of solid B tier, maybe low A tier, really it's high B tier. And CLKA is probably also like low B tier, I'd say. Anyway, in terms of the deployments, we got SadNoises here, and he's given up on Bravo. He's not going for Bravo at all. He's going to try and attack Delta. We'll see how that goes. I've not watched the game. So, yeah, Jaeger Aufklärer to here. We spoke about this in the deck review. I don't really like this vehicle. Like, sure, you get some good optics for 25 points, and it does have smoke, but in general, I don't think it's that great. And then, yeah, sending this over here to look. Recon Helo just flying straight over there. Recon Helo just flying straight over there, just to give vision sacrificially, I suppose. CV for Echo Foxtrot Golf. When I play on this map, I don't open CV, because all the points are +1 anyway, so you're not gaining too much by buying that at the start. Then double Lux and Jaeger Aufklärer. So, you know, if you want to get somewhere fast, you want the Fernspeer, really, because they're going to get there first, because they start further forwards, and, you know, this is tracked anyway. Then, yeah, Fox, Pioneer, Carl Gustav, 2 Marder 1A, 2 Milans, 2 Leopard 5, 3 Leopard 5s, and 2 Gepards. So usually you'd want, like, Gepard Roland 3 or something, because otherwise, you know, because a Roland 3 can fire, hopefully, before the bomber hits you, whereas the Gepard is purely revengical or whatever. And then 2 Lux and the double Fernsphere here. My bad, didn't notice this. There were 2, just for this road down here. So just keep in mind that CLKA, switch into our opponent's deployment, the opponent's deployment. We're not taking sides, very impartial. CLKA doesn't get forward deployment, right? So, you know, this is recon deployed and whatnot. So it's not going to get there as fast. So we would expect to see the Fernsphere get there first. And the way he's substituted for that is by Hilo rushing with the Kenners, which, I mean, we'll see. These are just not very fast. They're only 165. Don't really agree with it, to tell you the truth. No hogs or anything either. So yeah, the Kenners dropping. This one's obviously not going to make. This one might. See how far up those Gepards get. 2 C&Vs, which are like the Lux, but better. So they're cheaper, but the autocannon's way better, and they have... Lux has 2 front armor, okay. And the Lux is faster. Okay. It's just this is 10 HP, and this is 8. In a 1v1, this will win. It's just the Lux has the mobility, right? So I guess they're sort of the same. But yeah, I think this should go to like 60 maybe. And then a couple commandos. We'll see how far they get. Well, 1 commando and 1 infantry law. In mid, we've got another Panzer Kenners go for this front building. Then the C&V going for here. And then we've got a Pratt TOW-2 launcher. So that can shoot all the way down there. And then, yeah, you can send it forwards and shoot. It's just easier to do it if it's a tank because it can fire while moving and has a turret, tends to have armor because you're going to get shot back and whatnot. And a CV for Alpha Delta Golf. Another CV for Bravo. Another Pratt. So what you can do with this one is put it back here. And then it can actually still shoot guys coming down there. I don't know how much of a difference it would make. Recon Helo with the guns. Panzer Kenners again. And some C&V KMARs, which are the military police ones, which don't actually have the autocannon on them. So I'm quite surprised by that purchase, really. I think maybe a bit more infantry there would have been useful. You've got recon. Well, I suppose it can be worth having a recon here. No, you probably couldn't afford another one because they're only 35 points. Anyway, we'll cast the game and we shall do so from this perspective. Right, so they're off and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels worth 2,000 views, so if you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. At the highest tier, you also get your games cast at a rate of 1 per calendar month. So unless you sign up on the first, you're guaranteed 2 casts minimum. You do have to send me the games. If you don't send me the games, I can't cast them. Yeah, great way to improve. Or you can just use it to show off, right? Whatever. Anyway, the Alouettes are getting taken out here. You saw this Phantom Mist. It is very cost efficient, but these missiles are not very good against helos. They do tend to miss, 55% of the time. And the Vikenners are doing about as well as we predicted. The Lux just cleaning them up. And on the other side, the C&Vs were cleaning up one of the Alouettes. I think the fighter got the other one. So these Vikenners don't manage to land there, although they do try. The 2 Gepards have now been scouted because they shot at the Phantom. And yeah, C&V versus Lux. Let's see who wins this one. You'd expect the C&V to win. A lot of it is just kind of RNG though. If you... Okay, they traded. Cluster purchased, but no recon, so just flies over the Gepards. Going to get evac most likely. Yep, there it goes. Blue at the advantage right now, and now just Shadowheart just sending that Phantom sort of near the Gepards again. Panzer Vikenners are in a good spot, and SadNoises doesn't unload and loses a Carl Gustav there. There's another infantry over here. Bofors starting to hit the tanks and whatnot. Gepards are coming in to intercept, so he's got to be careful. And you see how long they take to do anything. It's really annoying. Anyway, Bofors getting shot. Phantom being sent over the Gepards, presumably just to slow them down, because it makes them stop if they're on an attack move order. Yeah, okay, gets a crit there. It almost died, actually. Now, this cluster should get somebody, but okay, he tried target switching and now he doesn't get anything. And he's going to probably get evac'd by those Gepards. Yep, there he goes. The Bofors still hosing him down. The infantry did not get a Lux. The Panzer for Kenner's probably going to lose to the... They should really lose to the Fernschwer. The MP5 is the best SMG in the game by quite some way. Let's see if we can find any other SMGs to compare. But yeah, the MP5 has an accuracy of like 90%, whereas the Uzis is like 40. So it's more than twice as good. Which is, for infantry weapons in Warno, that's a big deal. Like, usually the infantry weapons are all standardized, whereas the SMG ones are just sort of all over the place. One YP408, desperately trying to hold the line here, but the look should really just polish that off quite quickly, because I don't think it can even shoot. This is on aggressive, interesting. That means that if it gets attacked, it should... The unit will advance to retaliate if it thinks it can win. If not, it will opt for a defensive attitude and pull back. So it automatically smoked there. Like, you see, it's not actually given it an order, it just did it itself. So if you're a newer player, it can be useful to put that on. But I find it quite annoying, because then I go to use my tank... And because I have object permeance, I assume it still got its smoke. And actually it doesn't, because it smoked itself when I wasn't looking. And sometimes, you know, you think you can take it, or you actually want that unit to get hit. Which is probably a bit of a cope reason, really. Anyway, blue coming to the edge of the zone here. Centurion Mark 5. It's nice and cheap, but it really shouldn't beat the Leopard 1. Although he sort of balls it and runs off. He should have kept going there. Maybe he didn't know what tank it was. This has 37% accuracy. The chances of it hitting you twice in a row is... Well, I mean, sometimes it happens, right? So, yeah, if he'd kept that there, that Centurion would have died, and then these C&Vs would have had to fall back or die, and then these guys would have got across here. So it's amazing how much difference one unit can make, right? In the meantime, Leopard 1's repairing here. And yeah, SadNoises manages to get the CV into Delta. Panzer Infantry dismounting, and presumably will be, yep, looks like they're moving up down this line. Like I said in the deployment, attacking Delta's kind of rough, man. I think SadNoises would have had a better time attacking Bravo, but then Bravo's the obvious one, so there tends to be more defenses there. But if you're blue and you take Bravo, red starts having a really tough time, because you can challenge them from here, you can put a CV in here, and like, so red has to have guys here, and the guys here actually get shot from people up here. Like, if you're in this forest, the guys down here can actually shoot you. So you've got to, like, hide a little bit behind, and then if you try and take this back, the guys here all shoot you. It's usually a couple tanks there. So I think, whereas this, it's very hard for blue to hold on to this, because like red, you know, you just put a Pratt there, it'll shoot all the way down that road. Put a Pratt here, it'll shoot all the way down that road. Put a Pratt here, it'll shoot. Like, it's very difficult to keep this open. What you can also do if you're red and you know there's nobody down here is you can literally just come down here and then come back up here, where it's grassier is actually you can move up and down there, whereas you can't up and down the grey bits. And let's say blue takes all this, well, he can't really clear this out because there's a big bloody hill here, so he can't actually see it. So you try and run over and you just get shot. It's really not fantastic. Anyway, double cluster coming out now. We'll see how this goes. Bofors, spoke about this in the deck review. It's not great. I mean, it can be used to lock down an area. It's just the Maxson does it much better and is cheaper and is more available, so... Cluster dies for the sake of a Marder 182 Milan. Probably not worth it. Oh no, he loses the second one as well. That's a shame, really. So this one was used to kill a Jaguar 2 over here. And then instead of evacing it this way, he auto-evac'd and it came over this way over the AA. So if you right-click, like shift, because you can shift T, and with shift still held, or you know, shift right-click, and with shift still held, shift right-click over here, and then shift V, and it will actually do it, evac, and do it, move over here and evac, right? So can be a lot more useful. Leopard 2A4 should beat Leopard 2A3. And you see that this has 21 pen at max range, which means it one-shots a 3 armor vehicle. Thankfully, for the Marder 1A2, it has 4 armor. And yeah, this is where blue would feel a lot better having a tank unit up here, because even if he can't shoot all this, he can still shoot across here. So yeah, Leopard 2A4 being expertly microed. I had a bug when I was casting this game. And I had to change my Warno version to cast it properly. In the other reality of this game, it was like desyncing or something, and nobody was doing anything. And I was just there like, wow, they're not doing anything. What are they doing? Anyway, things are actually happening. So that's exciting. Yeah, so obviously the Kmart doesn't have an autocannon, so this is very, very optimistic, I suppose you could say. So the Bofors is going to tear that Fernspur apart, and this is exactly what we were talking about, trying to get down here. So if you're blue, you need a lot of smoke, really. You need to buy a smoke mortar. Do you like this from Shadowheart? Moving everybody forwards to take Echo after the Jaguar 2 got taken out. And the Panzer Infanterie should lose to the Panzer Grenadier. I mean, they're all vetted up and they've got DMRs and whatnot. Although if they're moving, then they don't fire their machine guns and whatnot. So he should really attack move this. This would die a lot faster. Take less time for this to happen. But yeah, if you're blue, I think you want to like smoke. Well, to be honest, red should have a guy in here, but it would have to be a tank, and it would get shot immediately. So it wouldn't be able to stay there. Anyway, you would smoke like here and then like smoke over here and then try and take this or something. But yeah, this Leopard 1A5 blob with one Leopard 2A4C takes out the one Leopard 2A4B there. Just sort of massive firepower coming in here. So many guns. Shadowheart does have some TOW 2s. And this is stunned, so I think it's dead. Oh no, it's shooting something else. Okay. So Leopard 2A4C makes it, Milan 1A2 doesn't, and the Prats, oh yeah, this isn't looking so great anymore. Just getting side shot, and this Leopard 2A4 does actually take out the enemy Leopard 2A4. Red loses the CV, but I think he's won on trades quite a lot here. Just getting loads of side shot, look at that, that's a Leopard 2A3, it almost died in one hit. Just getting side shot because there's people here, there's people there, yep, Bopar firing as well. Really just needs to get out of there. I think it was very... that's the issue with attacking over here. In the meantime, big fight's been happening over here. Pioneers were sent in without AT, presumably because this was in the transport and it died. So now they're just dying to all the vehicles because they can't do anything about them because they don't have AT. Double commandos. I think blue will really struggle to deal with this, especially given that his pioneers ended up coming over here. So... not looking so great. Leopard 2A3s, not doing so well. The Bopar should be pulled back, really. Looks like he's not being shot at anymore. And the Commandos, like we said in the video, in the deck review, like 16 shooty power. Really doing a lot of shooty there. So the Panzer Grenadiers can't really hold up to that. Pratt's moving forwards now, and yeah, it really is only a matter of time for this position. It's very difficult for blue to do this. Like, something I have tried is like getting to here and then pushing this and then trying to come over here, but all red does is just put a few guys up here and then can just shoot you, right, as you come in. But yeah, Iltis goes down. The Leopard 2A3 goes down to the Pratt here. I'm not sure if that was like a side shot or what. Probably was. So, yeah, looking good for Shadowheart at the moment. Although he did lose 2 of his cluster bombers. Like, blue's AA net's still mostly intact. This is sort of all you need. But yeah, red's taken this zone back. And will soon secure the +3. Although holding on to this is going to be quite difficult. What he could do is try something here. So you can actually get up this. If you can believe it. So yeah, he could try something there. Like... sneak a unit in or something, but I think the more straightforward way of doing things would just be to push this and then get into here and then push golf and yeah, sure, send one unit around. But I don't know, I think if you're blue you need to sort of push this way a bit. Like, there's nobody here, you got a Panzer Grenadier. What if these came down here, got behind him? Well, he's stuff now. There's literally nobody in the zone, but Obviously, we can see everything, and they can't. So, yeah. Pratt with the MAG probably won't be able to stop all this before it gets close enough to fire the. There's just too many of them, really. Right, it's got the MAG. It's at triple Vex. It killed that Leopard 2A3, right, which betted it up. But he's attack moving instead of right-clicking this, so they're just engaging at max small arms range rather than actually trying to take out the Pratt. Okay, there it goes. That YP's probably not making it out. Oh, he's actually trying to send it up there. But yeah, the Leopard 2A3 was there this time. So +3 to Shadowheart, but it's soon to be a +1, I feel. But really, Shadowheart needs to get somebody in Charlie, because once Blue's finished sorting this out, he's going to push forwards, you would assume. And that would be it. So, yeah, Shadowheart's got a lot of units here, right? It would be cool to take all this. I just keep thinking of the Baldur's Gate 3 character. Anyway. That's a really good game, actually. Sort of the whole, look, you know, woke people can make games. It's a very, very woke game. And it's a still a good game, so there you go. Go woke, get broke, or whatever. So get woke, go broke, something like that. Anyway, or become one of the best-selling games of all time, I think, on computer. Obviously, it's like so you're never going to compete with Call of Duty or whatever because of the console markets, but I don't know, whatever. It's a decent game if you like RPGs. It's an alright game. Yeah, minigun's doing some work here. I mean, you'd assume the Gepard would really rinse these quite quickly. He just needs to get out of this forest, and I think he'd be able to see it. Let's look at that. Yeah, just because he went for the right click, I don't think don't think it's working out. So, tank Jaegers did not get a chance to shoot there. Okay. Yeah, the commandos will definitely clean that up. Here it's a bit weirder, so that the Gepard, because of where it is, because of these tanks and whatnot, if it was here, it would just kill all the infantry, but it can't, you know, when the infantry was back here, it can't do that. So Panzer infantry being sent on a merry old jaunt, and now this really needs to be passed away, because he just saw the Gepard eviscerate his Bofors there, and you know, you're next, buddy. Sadly, we only see the ground range on this. There we go, it's very much in range now. And it is moving, but still has a nice motion accuracy. These guys probably not... Oh, no! Yeah, because it's got 2 armor. It doesn't one-shot, but it routes. Which means you can't get out. You literally can't unload it when it's routing. You can press it, it's just not going to do anything. I need to check again if those are... if those are reservists. Hopefully he buys another one. Anyway, the Leopard 2A3 they're out of AT range. But yeah, pretty crazy game. I think these should move up. Like, if you get the Pratt up here, well then he's going to shoot that, and this won't actually be able to shoot back. So that would have been cool, instead of just letting all these lot die, you know. And the infantry's coming up this way, you know, this could be sent forwards. It's just... No, you don't have to... You can actually just come down here. There is somebody here as well. Yeah. Anyway, SadNoises now attacking Charlie, and there is a bit of a defense. There's a Leopard 1, and there's an Ito. So the Iltis just going to the forest for now, and yeah, this was a bridge too far, I'm afraid. Haha, that is a daring reference to the movie, which was based on real events and happened in the Netherlands with commandos trying to cross a bridge, but it was too far. I guess I've spoiled the whole movie for you now. Anyway, in that movie, it was based on reality, and there's a scene where the officer, who's I think it's, what's he called, like Alec Baldwin or something, the guy who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi in the old Star Wars, he's like running around, ducking, dipping, diving, and dodging. And apparently in real life he didn't actually do that. He would just walk between positions that were under fire, because the British were like, the officer must set an example and make the men appear fearless. Anyway, Cluster 2 coming out for the Leopard 2A4C. I badmouthed this in the deck review, and I was right to do so. Oh, it's not actually dead. Okay. But it didn't get anything, and it's now going to be reloading for 4 minutes. And the advantage of the other cluster, which I suppose are dead, so is that that's not ideal, is it? Is that it, you know, it reloads in 60 seconds. But hey, if they're dead, then obviously you need another cluster, right? So, yeah, smoke coming out from SadNoises. And that CV is going to go into the smoke. This is a big... So this RTP should be shooting that smoke mortar. It's a damn shame it's not, because like this wouldn't be possible if this was dead. And this will deadify it. It's a very nice piece of kit. So, in the forest, the infantry fights continue, but the commandos, basically, blue doesn't have anything that can actually fight them, infantry to infantry. 16 shooty power is big, so the Pioneer Carl Gustavs are basically 5th Panzer's best. Interesting. Apparently the situation is dire indeed. Everything's very red there. Yeah, Leopard 1 here went down. Presumably to the enemy Leopard 1. Here we are. They are not classed as reservist. So, I don't know. I mean, they're just routing because this has big suppression. It's on RNG. You really need to unload these. This is not intelligent. That's a side shot which one-shots them because they've got 2 front armor, but not 2 side armor. Sorry I said that so weird. But yeah, that was unfortunate. And look at that. SadNoises back in the game. The Foxes and whatnot are swinging this fight. You know, the additional fire support. This isn't just infantry versus infantry. It's also outnumbered quite a bit. Big arty part. So this should be next to that. Click this, Shift F, click on that. Move between firing. Need to hit that Panzer Mercer. Although it's done its job now, so... And yeah, here come the Marder 1A2 Milans. So 5th Panzer's like 2nd Panzer, except worse. Because you get Marder 1A2s instead of Marder 1A3s. You don't get any forward deployment. Your AA is worse. But it's still very good, because you just sort of do the same thing, which is just spam IFV and Tonk. It's very good at that. Sadly, this one wasn't microed properly, so he didn't get an extra shot there, and this got an unlucky miss, I suppose. Needs a bit of supply up for these commandos, buying some Beweging Mobiel. Dutch, such a beautiful language, as we know. And the Pwat. So Pratt is an insult in British English, and Pwat is what a sort of a posh toff would call somebody when they tried to call them a Pratt. So that's why I find it very, very funny. Anyway, Beweging Mobile being sent to die for the crime of having a bad name, but with these guys having mediocre stealth, the accuracy is only 39%. It does actually miss there, so they're going to survive, live to fight another day. And yeah, this game has become a bit of a mess. If you're blue, where do you go now? Looks like they want to get back up into the forest, and that would put them on a 0 if they got that. And he's also pushing mid with these Marder 1A2 Milans. So this is 35 and this is 50, so that's 85. So you can buy 3 of them in a minute. So you can get them out quite fast. Not a bad piece of kit, the Marder 1A2 Milan. Marder 1A3 Milan is obviously better. You can't buy 3 a minute, but it doesn't matter. It's got 5 armor, and there's a lot of things in this game that do 18 damage, 18 heat pen, which means they one-shot 4 armor. So a Dragon 2 would one-shot 4 armor, a Repairer would one-shot 4 armor, and they are very, very popular. And so having 5 armor is very useful. There's also a lot of 18 pen launchers, I suppose. Well, there's not too many. There's the Blinderside 100 or something on Belgium. Trying to think of some more. Like 84's a 17, I think. So yeah, I mean you see that. So like blue basically lost all his units. He just already has a whole new army, and that's kind of the point of 5th Panzer. You get a new army again pretty fast. These guys do have Carl Gustavs, which is 16 pen, which would one-shot 2 armor. So a side shot would do it, but like it's going to be a no shot. But look at these Pratts now firing across. So this is the issue if you're blue and you try and attack over here. Red can just put all these in the forest, or you can put it in the open and get shot if you want. Or you can just put it in the forest here, get yourself a bit of reprieve, bit of recon, a bit of stealth even. Cluster 2's back, or it might be another one. And this time the Leopard 2A4C does go down. So this is basically immediately paid for itself. I think it's 280, yeah. So there you go. and he sent both out, so the AA couldn't do anything. But there is no AA. The Rowan 3 died somewhere, somehow. All the Gepards are gone except this one, which doesn't have the range. The tank Jagers are pretty good on this map. It's good, because in the deck review I was like, I never see people bring these, but on this map, and fighting around here, I guess it's very useful. Double whatever. But anyway, the infantry here was put on the front of the forest, so got shot by all the fire support, whereas if he'd come back here, they would have had to come around here and whatnot to shoot him. Just a bit more not great stuff going on there. Phantom tries to take out the HE1. We spoke about this. That just shouldn't be in the deck, really. It's a really bad idea. I'm not sure why he's done that. Oh, will it get it with the guns? It does. It did actually get it with the guns there. That was really close, actually. Missed a lot with the missiles, but got it with the guns. And, yeah, it's a shame, you know. If he got to here, he'd be able to kill that, but he just can't see it. Needs to rotate out the low ones, and looks like he's making a play. You know, smoke mortars and whatnot. So counter-smoking here. But to what end, really? This should have the CV next to it. It's going to try and no-scope a Leopard 2A4C. Can it actually see it? I mean, it basically can, it's just we can't see it, right? It's going to get that. It's got its front the right way, although it would be a top attack anyway. But yeah, imagine if he... Okay, I think he's going to see it now. It depends, because this is on attack move, it'll probably stop there and start shooting. Leopard 2A4 just sort of being left there is really kind of weird. This will be corrected shot and whatnot. Okay, he's moving it now. So will he just shoot empty space, or will he shoot the smoke mortar, which is currently shooting his guys? He will shoot empty space. Big shame, right? Could have got that smoke mortar there. Anyway, the tank Jaegers, I'm sorry I missed it, did manage to take out that Iltis there, so Red will own that zone and be back on that cheeky +1. Can't see Red getting back into Charlie anytime soon. But Blue's had to buy some AA now because, you know, he can't afford it. Leopard 2A4 coming for the... No, that's so expensive. He just put the CV next to it as well. Now I'm going to be blamed for giving him this advice. Obviously, you don't drive your stuff into the enemy and die. Big shame, big shame. Shouldn't really have been there to start with, frankly. Definitely want a couple of forests between you and the enemy when you're using that. So this Leopard 2A4C is going to be kind of hard to deal with. Nothing here can really hurt it. But they do have smoke. So commandos are just going to beat all this infantry quite easily, but the tanky Jaegers probably not going to make it. Mr. Van der Boss here, about to receive a tank shell. And down he goes. Panzer Mercer trying to contribute. Good smoke with this before it explodes. Okay, what about now? You've been given a second chance. Anyway, these have a lot of armor, but obviously that one had been wounded. 14 pen. The main issue is that it'll rout, right? It'll rout before it dies, and then it'll die while it's routing, most likely. It does have a couple machine guns and whatnot. Yeah, so you get stunned and whatnot, and routes are a bit random, you see, so sometimes they happen in one hit, sometimes they just don't happen. It's dumb. It really should not be random. Anyway, looking a bit rough for Red now, actually. I mean, he was doing quite well, although the thing is, he can just get this in here. Double Commando is an interesting choice, because obviously, surely you'd want an ATGM here, for example, or a Recon. A Recon done an ATGM. So like a Pwat, for example, moved up to here. And a Recon Infantry. You'd expect the F-16A to win that, because it's got... what? Never mind. They both have the same missiles and the same ECM. So they kill each other. And the Iltis is being sent, but I mean there's too much stuff here really. You'd have to kill these. There aren't very many of them. Commando should have no problem dealing with these men. And here we go, smoke coming out. Great, and he's going to use that to get into these houses presumably. Now he should be able to shoot these, and then the smoke should shift to, you know, when these start firing, you fire sort of smoke behind these so that these can't shoot you. Because he's on an attack move, he's not actually in the house, so Panzer Grenadier have a big advantage here. Yeah, it's not ideal. Panzer Infanterie don't make it, There's no CV in here anymore. Cluster 2, going for that Leopard 2. It's like he surrendered there. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it looked like he got back in there. I guess because he lost mid, he figured he couldn't do it. It was a really good game, actually. It was a lot better than the desynced version I watched the first time. So this is Shadowheart, 16 NATO games, 75% win rate, rank 119. This is SadNoises, 57 ranked games, 75% win rate, rank 29. So part of it's your win rate and part of it's how many games you play, if you want to get that elo. 1,500 games total, 241 games total. I'm not sure if that's been reset, but that's the Hippie dividend right there. You watch Hippie YouTube videos, wow, you can play better than people who have, 5 times your games. So, yeah, HE1, obviously bad, don't bring that. And I thought that was a really good game, actually. CLKA, it's a decent div. It's just, it's a bit of a weird one. It's kind of hard. It's got like a little bit of everything. It's kind of hard to classify. No IFVs, but autocannons got nerfed a little bit, if you recall, so they're not as oppressive as they used to be. They're still very useful, and you still do get some autocannons in the form of the C&Vs, but not very many. Anyways, I do hope you enjoyed that game, and I'll see you in the next one. GG.